Thank you. To officially welcome us all, may we call on Dr. Hazel D. Joaquin, the Dean of the College of Education of Capi State University, Rojas City Main Campus. Let us give her a virtual round of applause, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nerabina. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. To Dr. Aucheria Calfarot, Assistant to the President for Foreign Affairs, Head of the Language Institute and International Affairs, Lecturer of Department of English, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences as well. To Ms. Ritia Pengsre, Lecturer of the Department of English, Faculty of Education, Lampang, Rajabath University, Thailand. To Dr. Rita Inderawati, Vice Dean of Academic Affairs. Sriwijaya University, to the Vice Dean of Research, Collaboration, and Internationalization, Dr. Rita Inderawati, to Dr. Marian Laureto, our Director for External Affairs and Linkages, Capsu, and of course to our Chair for EL, Capsu Main Campus, Dr. Ginalyn Douglas. Ladies and gentlemen of all genders, a pleasant afternoon. On behalf of the College of Education and the entire academic community of Capsu State University Main Campus, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this international webinar workshop on educational podcast in English language teaching. In today's rapidly changing educational landscape, podcasting has emerged as one of the most accessible, creative, and learner-centered tools available to teachers and students as well. It empowers our learners to engage with authentic language, develop critical listening and speaking skills, and participate in meaningful digital communication, anytime and anywhere. For us in higher education, it is not just a technological trend, but rather it is also a powerful opportunity to reshape how we design, deliver, and enrich our English language instruction. This webinar this afternoon brings together educators and undergraduate students who share a common purpose: to explore how digital storytelling and audio-based learning can deepen language proficiency and foster 21st century communication skills. The presence of our participants from Philippines, Indonesia, and Thailand reminds us that English language teaching is both a global responsibility and a collaborative endeavor. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our resource speaker, Dr. Rita, to the organizers of this webinar headed by Dr. Ginalyn Douglas, our partner institutions, Indonesia and from Thailand, and all participants for making today's event a possible one. Your passion for innovation in education inspires us to keep advancing our practices and expanding what is possible in language learning. As we begin, I encourage everyone to be open, curious, and engaged. May this webinar spark new ideas, meaningful collaborations, and have transformative approaches to teaching and learning. Once again, welcome everyone, and may we all have enriching and inspiring learning experience today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joaquin, for that warm and inspiring message. Indeed, an empowered and engaging classroom empowers our students. So now, let us proceed to the introduction of our resource speaker. We invite Dr. Ginalyn Douglas, our EL chairperson of Capsu State University Rojas City Main Campus, to introduce to us our resource speaker.
So again, good afternoon, everyone. So it is my honor to introduce our speaker, Dr. Rita Inderawati. So the Vice Dean for Academic Affairs at Universitas Sriwijaya, Indonesia. Dr. Rita is an accomplished educator, researcher, and author with over 3 decades of experience in English language teaching. She has held key leadership roles, including head of the Indonesian Education Laboratory and head of the master's program in language education. She has delivered lectures and trainings internationally, collaborated with universities across Asia, Australia, Europe, and United States, and has written numerous academic articles and literary works. Dr. Rita is also known for her innovations in virtual drama performance and educational podcasting and holds multiple intellectual property rights for her creative outputs. Today, we are privileged to learn from her experience and expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Rita Inderawati, our resource speaker.
Okay, thank you. So, am I audible now?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Doc.
Okay, thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, first of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for the opportunity to gather here today in the meaningful collaborative between, not between among Kepi State University, Lampang Rajabath University, Thailand, and Sriwijaya University. So it is really, truly an honor for me to get together with you, with the students from our campuses, the partners, and also the dean of Cape State University that allow me to be the speaker because we have the collaboration. So I would like to also extend my deepest appreciation to all colleagues from the three participating countries. I see my friends, my colleagues, Dr. Tita, Dr. Yentri, Dr. Zuraida, sorry, Ibu Zuraida, and Ying, thank you. Perhaps there are many from your university. Okay, so this program is more than just a joint activity. It is the first time for us to do the program. So I think later it can bridge to connect our institution. And we have started today. To our colleagues and students from the three campuses, from the three countries, thank you for your time, your dedication to be here, to learn one another. Next time, it will be your forum, yeah, not only for your lecturers, me and other lecturers, but also it is for your forum. What do you think, Dr. Gina, Dr. Ying? One day the student will have the forum to be activate one another, to collaborate one another like us.
Sure. As I mentioned to
Okay.
before
Okay.
that, we can also hold like online seminar between students,
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
a forum
that's
that they
correct.
can
That's good.
exchange their knowledge and
Yeah.
experiences.
Okay, that's good idea.
Yeah.
So I would like to start my presentation. So I will allow my colleague, Dr. Tita, to present, to share my, yeah. So yeah, just wait for that. So it is webinar and also a workshop. If it is a workshop, meaning that there must be the product after that. Yeah, later we can ask everybody here to create podcasts. Okay, so here it is workshop on educational podcast in ELT, in English language teaching. So I'm sure that the participant today in this afternoon are from English education. So again, I would like to thank you to Dr. Gina, the Dean of Cape State University also, and the colleges also, Ying, out Autacheria, sorry, and your student also who are here with us. I think it is a pleasure for all of us, teacher, lecturer, student, yeah, to have the same passion, yeah, in improving our quality of English learning. So today workshop is designed to help us explore how podcast, okay, it is not new anymore, but we have to explore that podcast can also enrich the teaching and learning activities, not only as listening materials, but also creative learning. So I said that it is a smart learning, okay? Once our students use podcasts, listen to the podcast, They learn many things from podcasts, meaning that they are smart students, and they will be smarter when they create a podcast. So we can say that it is what it is something like advanced smart podcast. Okay, so through this session, we will, yeah, not only you, but also me, to learn about how to design the podcast, structure engaging the content, write effective script, and create host, guests, also the interaction also between the two person naturally. And then we will look at practical example how podcasts can be integrated into ELT classroom to support our learning and student participation. The next, please. Yeah, you can continue, Ibu Tita. Yeah, so it is our campus. We have 5 campuses. Yeah, and we have one main campus, not so far from our city. The next, Tita. Okay, continue to the next slide. So this one, we start from here. Why should be podcast? Why podcast? You know that the growing of information and technology, communication technology, has transformed the education landscape, providing teachers and students with new possibilities for learning. Okay, so we can use podcast for learning. So among these innovation, podcasts can emerge as one of the most flexible, accessible, and engaging tools for education purposes. So the reason behind this, the rising importance in learning. For example, first you can see here in this slide, new opportunities through digital innovation. So the rapid development of digital technology has opened new doors in learning processes. So podcast as a modern digital medium offer innovative ways to access information, to receive, to accept the information. Okay, this is the first one. And they allow the student here to consume educational content through audio. So it is the innovative learning. In this 21st century learning, they have many information that they can get easily in internet, because there are so many, and sometimes they get confused which one will be for their material to learn. And the second one, because it has high accessibility for pre-service teachers like our students. So here, podcasts provide greater accessibility for them who need continuous exposure to education content, theories, and then professional insight. And then they can listen, as I have mentioned before, the student can listen to podcasts, any important, any famous podcast in the world, anytime, anywhere. Yeah, while waiting a bus, for example, while waiting for the teacher, they can listen to the podcast, and they are very smart, yeah, smart learner. So the flexibility support lifelong learning and help the students stay informed about current issues, research, and also teaching strategies. And it is a personalized learning experiences. So one of the strengths of podcasts is the ability to support personalized learning. Here, the student can choose the pace of listening, time of engagement, and also topic that match interest of learning. And the fourth thing, by listening to podcasts, the student, as the pre-service teachers, can explore a wide range of topics that may not be covered fully in the classroom. It is when we compare with, let them read a book, very thick book, and then they will not read all. But because it is their time, they use their ear to listen learning material easily and enjoyfully. I think, yeah, because it is their time. So they gain access to expert discussion, real new case studies, interviews, and also in-depth explanation. And the last week, I have this one, the gap. Yeah, the gap. So because it is one of my research with my friend Ibu Tita, so we do the research on educational podcast, and this one the gap. Yeah. So through podcast, it offers many benefits. So there remain a significant gap in teacher education program. Students are often consumers of podcasts, just consume, not produce. Yeah. Therefore, through this workshop, I would like to tell the students, to tell you all how we can be the producer. We can produce, we can have the product of podcast. Because here, by creating educational podcast, it can allow our student to synthesize, not only accept the information, but they synthesize the information, practice communication skill. They can also integrate creativity and develop digital literacy. Okay, the next, please. The next slide, Ibu Tita. So here is the history of podcast. You know that Ying and other lecturers, international collaborator, become the jury of our international competition on podcast. So it is the first time for us to have. And the history, you can see here that I created the podcast, a very simple, very cheap podcast. Only we have the simple equipment, but by the equipment, we can produce many podcasts through the class, of course. So you can see here that the podcast previously, when it has done in COVID-19 pandemic. So we start from 19 pandemic, we did it online. We did it online. Therefore, we have a podcast since 2021 up to now. And we do it very, very simple. The next, please. Yeah. So I said it is educational podcast because I started the podcast from every material, every courses that I teach in my university. So we start with paragraph writing, teaching material development. So every courses we have the podcast, yeah, as the project for the student to do. You can see the first picture. It is very simple. We don't have any equipment. There are only two students with the microphone. Yeah, it is very traditional podcast. And the second one, you can see that it is we did it by using Zoom, and the student can do it from home. And the last, it is the student in the mini studio in our laboratory, language laboratory, with very simple podcast equipment. The next, please. Okay, so we start from the workshop actually. So the workshop, you know that the lecturers got confused. What would they do at the time with the podcast? What to start, they said. So I created a workshop with the lecturers at my campus, and we did it online. So with the two student, no, not the two student, with the two resource person, we were in the laboratory, and the other from home. From that, we can continue to the next slide, please. From that workshop, finally, we have this one. Some students focused their research for their thesis, for their major paper to podcast. And some lecturers also, some lecturers also use podcasts for their students. At the end of the meeting, they make a podcast. And some other laboratory, we have 15 laboratories actually in our campus, in our faculty, not in our campus. We have 15 educational laboratory. And then the student did the podcast there. Yeah, so it is because we have the previous podcast. The next, please. So here, after that, we have the student with podcast as the main the main thing to be their research. So me myself with the student with Ibu Tita created an article and then we have published. It is about podcast creation. We created the assessment, how to assess the podcast. And then the other students under our advisory, under our research, they also created research about podcasts. Weni, Nurma, Tasya, and also Mahran. The next, please. So it is creating educational podcast. So our students now under 21st century era, so they have to enhance their communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity competence. So we cannot avoid enhance their competencies by creating, not by listening, but we create the podcast and then at least 90% of the competencies can be enhanced by the student, can be developed by the students, of course, by our guidance. The next, please. So why should be podcast? Why should be educational podcast? Sorry, it is still bahasa Indonesia. So sorry that you can see here that educational podcasts are not audio recordings only. They are actually intellectual products created through a rich and meaningful learning process. So here a podcast is an intellectual product, not just audio file as you see here. So by produce a podcast, multiple stages of thinking, they start with exploration, analysis, synthesize, argument, and storytelling as Gina said before, yeah. Gina or the dean said about storytelling. Yes, they have to make a story when they created a podcast because podcaster need a narrative flow. Yeah, I mean that student must consider pacing, engagement, and also clarity. The next, please. Yeah. So these are some screenshot from the podcast because if I show you the podcast, it will, yeah, we need more time, yeah, because it is only around 1 hour with the question and answer. So I just sent you the screenshot of the podcast. You can see that here. Some students, when they created book, for example, and then they bring the book into podcast. They created podcast and they discuss about how they created the book through podcast. So they have the product, the book itself, and also they have the product of the video of podcast. Okay, this one, the other students. And the next, please. Yeah, this one also another student from another schools, even though it is very simple, very small equipment. But what's important that they already created the podcast. And here is some screenshot from C Teacher Program podcast. It is your students, Gina, from Cape State University. Can you see that? This, I forget the name. Yeah, Angie, Renzi. Yeah, they were at the time with my students created podcast and they discuss about the program of C Teacher once they come to Indonesia and then leaving Indonesia. So they discuss about that in around 30 minutes without any script. Yeah, so they did it smoothly and very simple actually. And they also you can see that here in the screenshot, the students, I mean that the host tried to edit the video or podcast. Yeah, it is actually just simple without any pictures, without any video accompanied the podcast. But after they got their video of podcast and then they continued to edit that by inserting some pictures, some videos dealing with their activities in doing the C Teacher program. Please continue. Yeah, so it is only the example. The next. Yeah, so it is the aspects of educational podcast. We say it is educational podcast because we try first from learning material, whatever learning material, not only from English but also for non-English courses. But here, because we are all from English language teaching, so we can, for example, find one course as the learning material says it is a reading or writing course. And then we start from that. The student try to think what part of the learning material they have to create it into the script. But after that, after learning material, they have to make the task division. Later, I will discuss about that task division, and then podcast, script writing, the next banner creating, podcast making, practicing, podcast recording, and then the intellectual property right. The next, please. And it is the learning material. Yes, say the learning material you can find from our course, speaking, listening, reading, or writing. And then the content can be about humanity or about climate change, and also the other one like artificial intelligence, something new in our era, and also about local wisdom. It is the learning material, and the student try to create into the draft of script. The next, please. So it is the task division. They start with the first one deciding who will be the guest, who will be the host, and then the second one they have to divide. They can show who will be the role of guest or the host by pointing one student, for example. Perhaps the student can do it better than the other, so he or she become the host and the guest, and the other one can do the collaborative podcast script writing. So here I would like to suggest you don't let only one student to create the podcast script, so let them collaborate writing the script in Google Doc. So we can see how the student work together, collaborate, because we are going to develop their 21st century skills, right? So we have to guide them. We can also come into the Google Doc to see whether all the students collaborate well or not, whether student write or not. So we can see directly, yeah, at the time. So we can use Google Doc. Then we determine the who will write or who will draft, make a draw, make a banner for this podcast. Yeah, by using Canva, for example, the student can create the banner. Later, you can see the next is they have to determine who will be the IT maker, who will be the video maker for the podcast. So in one group, the student have different role. But for writing the podcast script, they have to do it collaboratively, because writing is one of soft skill that we can give to the students. We can initiate the student to write, so that later writing can be important for their future. The next, please. Yeah. So it is how to write the podcast still Indonesia. So you can see here that they write the script is the key. Yeah? If they can write very good podcast with good topic, and people will watch their podcast. So podcast start with the develop the idea, and they can also arrange the plan to do, yeah, from the beginning up to the end. Okay, the next, please. This one, making the flyer or the banner. One student created that. Yeah, it depends on their creativity, yeah, because there are many. So the pictures, the lecturers, and the students' faces can be can appear in that banner. The next, please. Yeah. Then the student do the practicing, trying, and recording. The next. Yeah, here behind the scene. Yeah, behind the scene, you can see that the student can do anything. Sometimes they laugh because it is funny, according to them. Yeah? Because it is the first time for them to do the podcast, and sometimes they laugh to make them happy. Because learning must make student happy. Actually, the next, please. So it is the property right from our government. Once we created podcasts or created others, we can ask government to give us something like certificate for us. And it is very important for teacher and students. The next. And do not forget, you have to make the data storage in Google Drive. So every single things about the podcast, because there are many things we have to keep, and don't let the data is in your laptop. Yeah, so we create the Google Drive, and then you can make for keeping, for example, the files of flyer, the files of podcast, the file of script, yeah, and then you can see the gradually the student progress from the draft of podcast, and then we check the students' work, and then we give them some suggestion to make it better, for example, and then it can be kept in one file, yeah, in one folder, something like this. You can see that. So it is the student practice the podcast. The next, please. And this one, the structure of educational podcast, it is still in Bahasa in English, no, in Bahasa Indonesia. So it is the structure from the beginning. You can see that. Here we start with opening by the host, yeah, just greeting and so on and so forth. Later I can show you the next. Yeah, the next, please. To make it clear, so it is educational podcast structure. We start with opening by the host. It is around 20 seconds. So the purpose is warm welcome, introduce the podcast, episode topic, and also brief mention the guest. The component we have to mention here is opening greeting, name of the podcast, episode title, short overview of the topic, light introduction of the guest, yeah, not full details because of the time. This one as the example, you can see that. Welcome to EduTalk, everyone. In this today's episode, we are diving into the roles of technology in smart learning. It is a topic that, and so on and so forth, you can continue. So it is just the example. The next, please. We can continue the next structure of creating the podcast. So it is the guest introduction. The purpose is to allow the guests to introduce themselves. Yeah, we ask the guest to introduce. Who is the guest? The guest is our student. We don't have to ask someone famous person to come to our podcast, but because it is educational podcast, so let the student become the famous person, let the student become the host, become the guest, because what they talk is about what they have learned with the lecturers, of course. So this one allow the guest to introduce, and then it is the dialogue you can see here between the host and the guest. The next, please. Allow the guests to introduce themselves in their own word. So the host invites guests to introduce themselves. So this one, the dialogue. Yeah, the next, please. Yeah. So it is the ice breaking. Do not forget, around 30 seconds. And the purpose is to create a friendly atmosphere before exploring into the main topic. So here is the ice breaking ideas. For example, you can give unique, funny experience, simple opinion question, fun fact related to the theme. This one is the example. So the host said, before we get into the main discussion, here is a quick, light question. If you could replace one traditional school rule with a new one, what would it be? So something like funny experience or simple opinion question that the student can say here in the ice breaking. The next, please. Yeah, so it is the main topic. So the main topic, there are many actually, the main question and then the guest response and then the follow-up of question. So I created this in order that the student can follow the rule, follow how to write the podcast, yeah, the structure of the podcast itself. The next, please. Yeah, this one, the reflection by the guest. So the purpose is the guest summarizes the key insight, give personal takeaway, or leave the audience with a meaningful message. So this one, the example. So you can see that learning. In the end, smart learning is not just about tools. It is about mindset. So it is, we can leave this one to the audience. Teachers and students need to stay curious, open-minded, and willing to adapt. And then closing by the host. The component, you can see that. Thank the guest, recap the main message briefly, closing statement, and then invitation to the next episode. And this one, the example. Okay, the next, please. This one, the rubric. Okay, you can see here the rubric of creating the podcast because it is a productive skill. We ask the student to write the podcast, but don't worry because artificial intelligence can help them. But again, we have to show them how to use AI wisely and correctly because everybody knows that AI is a helper, a friend to discuss, to synergize one another. Yeah, not only to ask, but also to do the interaction, good interaction. So the student not only get something from artificial intelligence, but they learn. AI become their friend to learn one another, to discuss one another. And then the rubric for podcast video. Of course, we created two productive skills, creating the writing, the script of podcast and also the video itself. So there are two creativities that the student created. And this one, yeah, this one, the rubric for the student, and lecturers can use this in order to to evaluate the students' work. Okay, the next. And this one, the dissemination or the publication of educational podcast. Now I'm here with you, but last month I'm in the SEED International in Philippines in Abra University. Yeah, they just called me. And this one, not from Capsu actually. This picture when I went to Philippine Normal University with the student to do their program of C teacher there, and then I become the guest speaker over there, and the other one I become the other speaker from 4 international conference and also the other workshop that I will do tomorrow here in Patimura University in Ambon, Maluku. Okay, the next. Yeah, I think, yeah, it is the conclusion. So after presenting the way how to create a podcast, we can find that here educational podcast just is not, yeah, it's not just a digital tool. They are powerful, actually, powerful platform for communication, collaboration, and learning, of course. So here, by integrating podcast production and podcast-based lesson, English language teaching educators can create a more dynamic, relevant, and motivating learning environment for today's learners. Well, I think that's all for my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Inderawati, for that enlightening lecture. We are so honored to have you with us this afternoon. And all in all, podcasts is one of the amazing tools that can help us teachers amplify the teaching and learning engagement in every classroom. So we will now open the floor for questions and clarifications for our participants. You may send your questions through our chat box, or you may raise your virtual hands to be recognized. We encourage everyone to participate in this discussion. Don't be shy. You may, if you do not want to ask directly, you may write or you may encode your questions in our chat box. You may also raise your hands if you want to ask questions directly to our resource speaker.
Yeah. Is it new for you to create? Because so far you are only you enjoyed other podcasts. What do you think?
Okay, we would like to request our participants, if you have questions, please encode them now in our chat box. Don't be shy. This is your time to clarify doubts or to ask our resource speaker to give you further information about creating podcast. We also are welcoming our faculty, teachers, and lecturers for your questions and clarification on this topic.
Yeah, while waiting for the question, I think it's better for you to see the podcast that the student have created. Okay, can you see that?
Okay.
Yeah, this one.
Previous teaching strategies, of course, and effective learning guide. Okay. Hi, Mbak Jen for today. Hi, Ayu. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Very delightful here, and I do really appreciate you try to invite me. Okay, thank you so much. Let's talk about our journey in a teaching material development of TMD course. We will first start with introduce the fundamental of TMD. Jana, can you share to your initial thought when we first start diving into the course material?
Okay, so it is another one. Sorry.
Manira,
Yes, ma'am.
so I would like to ask Dr. Rita.
Okay.
Dr.
Yeah.
Rita, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for a very fruitful and very enriching lecture that you have given us regarding podcast. So we really learned from you. So Dr. Rita, I would like to ask, what
Yeah.
challenges have you experienced in using podcast in your class, and how did you address such challenges?
Challenges in doing the podcast, you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, in using podcast as one of your teaching strategies. So what are the challenges?
Yeah.
Are there any challenges along the way in using podcast?
Okay. Okay, good question. Thank you very much, Dr. Hazel. Well, yeah, I think in carrying out the podcast, for example, we encounter some meaningful challenges, of course, yeah. At the beginning, for example, I have mentioned before about the flexibility, about the teamwork, because the student sometimes didn't like with this one or that one, because I think it is a big challenge for us also, because sometimes the students have their own circle. Sometimes I'm here with my circle, but we as lecturer try to make them to go to another group. We are not only that group, they have to go to another group to do the collaboration, because you know that it is not enough only to enhance the students 21st century skills, but also we have to educate them, because they will be educators. They have good characters, yeah, to be good teachers later on. Therefore, we have to ask them to go to another group, not only to the group that they like so much. And another challenge, I think, in the communication, yeah, sometimes because in my class it is about English, yeah. Sometimes the students shy to say in English about one topic, for example, and the topic that I really love and the student also like it. For example, we discuss about climate change issues. So climate change issues, it sounds for science students, but now we bring the issues of climate change into English language teaching, because you know that I think just the same in your campus in Thailand, also in Philippines, the student learn about kinds of text, okay, procedure text, narrative text, descriptive text. So the student by using the by not by using by knowing the issues about climate change, they can develop into kinds of texts. Okay, yeah. But again, for the communication that I have mentioned before, yeah, it is sometimes overcoming. It is difficult for overcoming language barriers, adjusting communication style. Yeah, but because they practice, they can do it very well after that. Okay, thank you for your question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rita, for sharing us your strategy for overcoming those challenges you have experienced. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hazel, Dr. Rita. We have one question here in the chat box from B.A. Frankie Lusa from Capsu Main Capsu Main. He said, hello, ma'am. Hello, everyone. I would like to ask, what mistakes should beginners avoid when choosing podcast as a topic?
What mistake the beginner should avoid?
Should avoid.
Good and difficult question, actually. Yeah. Okay, so talking about mistake, yeah, sometime if it is the first time for us to do something, sometimes we can find that we have make a mistake. For example, when choosing your question, when choosing a topic, just because of it is trending. Yeah. So many beginner pick topics that are popular at this moment, but not something they truly care about. So it is the mistake, yeah, the beginner mistake. So I would like to tell you that the podcast that I present today is educational podcast that discuss about courses, about the student courses. But it is okay when the student want to create a podcast with different topic, not about what they have learned in their class. So be careful, yeah, when you choose the topic that are popular nowadays. Trend change quickly without uh, real interest. It becomes difficult to stay motivated or produce consistent episodes. The second mistake that sometimes made by the beginner, yeah, when they don't discuss about the learning material, they choose topic, the topic is too broad, okay? Because podcast can be education, can be about the material that they learn in the campus, but also can be something outside of the campus. But do not choose the topic that is too broad. Something like the topic about education, it is still too broad. The student have to narrow it. Something like when they write a single paragraph, for example. If the student write about a single paragraph about education, it is still too general, and the student will write anything about education. About health, for example, it is too broad. About lifestyle, it is too wide, yeah, too broad for the student to do. So the beginner often struggle to focus their content, resulting in episode they feel scattered. Yeah, so narrowing the topic makes the podcast clearer and more appealing. So podcast can be around 10 minutes, okay, around 10 minutes. So the student and also the listener will focus. Therefore, it must be very specific, cannot be very broad. And the other one, it is about the mistake. For example, ignoring the long-term sustainability. So the topic of the podcast may sound exciting for one episode, for example, but can it sustain 10, 20, or 50 episode? It is too long. Yeah. So we have to ignore long-term sustainability. Podcast stop only for one episode. One or two, it's okay, but don't make very long. Yeah. It is serious. Serious. It is a series of podcasts. It's better to make very short podcasts. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rita, for that very clear explanation of what to avoid in making podcasts. So remember,
Yeah, so thank you
BA.
for Frankly from Capsu. Yes.
Yeah. So any more questions? Do we still have questions? If none, Doc Hazel, shall we proceed?
Yes, yes, Mamira. We shall now proceed with the awarding of certificate of recognition
Sige.
policy.
All right, once again, thank you very much, Dr. Inderawati, for that enlightening lecture. So at this point, we shall be giving the certificate of recognition to our dear
You.
resource speaker. So allow me to read the content of the certificate. Capital State University, Rojas City Main Campus, Philippines College of Education, in partnership with Universitas Sriwijaya, Indonesia, and Lampang, Rajabath University, Thailand. Certificate of recognition is proudly presented to Dr. Rita Inderawati, in grateful recognition for sharing her invaluable time and expertise as speaker during the webinar entitled Workshop on Educational Podcast in English Language Teaching, as part of the international collaboration program among Capital State University, Rojas City Main Campus, Universitas Sriwijaya, and Lampang Rajabath University, held on November 26, 2025 via Zoom platform. Given this 26th day of November 2025 at Capital State University, Rojas City Main Campus, Philippines. Signed, Dr. Hazel D. Joaquin, Dean, College of Education, Capsu. Congratulations, Dr. Rita. Can we give Dr. Rita virtual applause, please, everyone? You may also
Thank
use
you
the
so much.
react buttons. Right. Thank you very much, ma'am, for that
Yeah, you're welcome.
wonderful topic. It's very helpful to us teachers also. So we shall now proceed to the closing program. So to formally close our program, may we call on Dr. Marian Laureto, our Director of National and International Affairs of Capsu State University, Philippines, for her closing message.
Thank you so
Ma'am?
much, Dr. Sabi. Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, po.
Yes.
Hi,
Okay.
Dr. Rita.
Hello,
Nice to see you
Marian.
again.
Thank
Good afternoon,
you.
everyone. Let me just begin by congratulating the College of Education, very ably headed by our Dean, Dr. Hazel Joaquin, for this successful mounting of the International Collaborative Webinar. Your commitment, Ma'am Hazel, to strengthening global academic linkages and reaching English language teaching is truly commendable. I would also like to give special recognition to the very dynamic Bisan Gahapo-Hapo Campus EL Chair of the Rojas Campus, Dr. Jeneline Dacles, whose unwavering dedication and hard work continue to inspire meaningful programs like this one. I believe this is just the start of the many activities that you're going to have with Sriwijaya and, of course, Lampang, Rajabath University. Thank you, Dr. Douglas, for your leadership and tireless passion in pushing forward our internationalization initiatives. Of course, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to our invited resource speaker, Dr. Rita. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your expertise with us and for delivering such an enriching talk on the use of educational podcasts in English language teaching. These insights you have opened new possibilities for our teachers and students to be more innovative and somehow elevate their instructional practices. And of course, to the entire Universitas Sriwijaya faculty, university, for making today's activity possible. Thank you so much for your collaboration. To the entire faculty of and students of the College of Education Rojas Campus, thank you for your presence this afternoon, our dear students. Your enthusiasm, no, hopefully next time we could encourage you more to be more open. No, you can ask questions as many as you would want to. Okay, just prepare your questions next time. And from our friends from Lampang Rajabath University, Thailand. Ma'am, thank you. Thank you so much. We are deeply honored by your time and engagement and for joining us this afternoon. Your participation somehow strengthens the spirit of collaboration and learning across borders, which is the heart of global education. And we would really want that to push here in Capsu State University. On behalf of the Vice President for External Affairs and Linkages, Dr. Salvacion Legaspi, who wished to really join you this afternoon, but unfortunately, she is in a very equally important meeting as at this time. I express our grateful appreciation for making this initiative possible to all the people behind this activity. Thank you very much. Programs like today's webinar reaffirm our collective commitment to building strong partnerships. I remember Dr. Rita, you've been, calling, making a follow-up for so many years since 2023.
Yeah.
Finally,
Long process.
finally.
Yeah. Mm.
Yes, despite our very busy schedule, I know you are very busy too. Thank you so much for making time for Capsu State University.
Yeah.
Fostering intercultural understanding and empowering our learners and educators through shared knowledge and best practices. So, as we end this event, may we continue to nurture these connections, sustain the momentum of collaboration, because I believe, Dr. Douglas, we still have a few webinars upcoming. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we are really looking forward to it with Dr. Rita and speakers from Rajabath, Lampang Rajabath
Dr.
University.
Jeng.
Yes, we're
My
very excited and
pleasure.
looking forward to it. And somehow we keep creating innovative teaching and learning spaces together. Once again, congratulations to everyone. Maraming salamat po. Terima kasih. Kabun kap.
Kapun ka. Thank
Good
you.
afternoon and mabuhay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Laureto. And before we proceed, may I remind our participants that the link for our attendance and the evaluation are already in our chat box. No, kindly hit these links and submit your attendance and your evaluation to this activity. Okay, so moving on, we shall now request everyone to open their cameras for a photo documentation. Okay, so we have 5, no? Okay, we are waiting for the rest of the participants to kindly open their cameras. No, so you ready your smiles, no? So because you would like to capture this memorable moment of international collaboration. Okay, Ma'am Jin?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, another one. Page 2. 1, 2, 3, smile.
Continue to smile.
Okay, another one. The third slide. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, another slide. 1, kindly open your cam. 1, 2, 3, smile. Another one. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, next, ma'am.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, smile.
Is that the
I
last
have 9
one?
slide, ma'am.
Okay.
7. 1, 2, 3, smile. Another slide. 1, 2, 3,
Keep smiling.
smile. Okay, second to the last. 1, 2, 3, smile. And the last one. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay,
All
thank you so much,
right.
everyone.
So that was it. No, on behalf of Capi State University and the Universitas Sriwijaya and Lampang Rajabath University, we thank you all for joining us today and for your active participation. May today's webinar inspire us to continue innovating in English language teaching
Sure.
and strengthen our bonds across nations.
Yeah.
So this has been your person in charge, Mira, and it has been my honor to guide you through this program. Terima kasih. Kapun kap. Mabuhay, everyone.
Kapun
Thank you so
ka.
much. Terima kasih.
Dr.
Kapun
Mabuhay.
mabuhay.
Dr.
Yeah,
Rita,
goodbye.
thank you.
Thank you for my colleagues.
Rita.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank
coming.
you, Dr. Rita.
Yeah.
Doc Yang, thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Ma'am Jen. Congrats.
Thank you, Ma'am Yen. Ma'am Giselle, thank
Thank you,
you.
Ma'am Jean. Congratulations.